Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of Entrepreneurship Lab. This is your host, Nevin Abajalat, welcoming you once again to the podcast where we help you grow and scale your business. And I'm a little bit out of my regular voice, been a bit sick, but I hope you can hear me well, understand me well. And today we have a special guest coming to us all the way from Alabama in the United States. And we're talking on the topic of demystifying the data. My guest today is Paul Graeve, and Paul is the founder and CEO of the Data Group, an innovative company who is dedicated to transforming businesses by utilizing their data. So, Paul, welcome to the show, and I'm very excited to have you here at the interview today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, excited to be here.
So, Paul, tell us a little bit more about your passion about data. How did that started? What's your background? Obviously, you run your own company now, but take us a little bit back to your story and how everything started.
Yeah, my career in data is kind of a accident. My dad was from the Midwest of the United States in the farm country, a state called Iowa, and he was just born and raised as a farm boy who believed in hard work, and so he was determined as a dad to teach me hard work. And so any and every break that we would have in school, he would find me some awful job that he liked to call character building opportunities to teach me how to work hard. And so after years and years and years through grade school and high school and college of having to work these awful jobs every break, I was, I think, a sophomore at college studying finance, and I begged him to get me some sort of job for the Christmas break that was not, so awful, and maybe even working in some sort of office environment. And so he got me a job working for in the office of a construction company, and they really didn't know what to do with me. They hired me just as a favor to my dad because he was a real estate developer, and they thought by hiring his son, they could get more of his construction jobs. And so they gave me a bunch of spreadsheets to do, and I completed those very quickly. And so they decided that I belonged in the IT department, and they stuck me in the IT department and asked me to build databases. And I didn't know one thing about databases at the time, but I opened up the books and just started reading and learning. And over the course of the next few months, I was building databases for this company. And little did I know that would be the beginning of my now 30-year career in data and data warehouses and databases and analytics. So it was, it just kind of happened by accident, but I realized in that time that I had a real gift for data and everything about data and analyzing data and really enjoyed it. So that's what prompted my career.
And very interesting and kind of unplanned. Like the life led you that way, and actually you discovered your talent. But I love your dad. I love that he wanted you to build the character, and obviously he did a great job. You're very successful, and that's really a blessing. So tell us a little bit, Paul. When people think about data, what are some misconceptions they usually have, or what is the thing they usually think about when they think data? And what are some parts of data that we never even think or we realize it's important?
Yeah, I'm working on my first book, which is a fun journey. It'll be coming out next year, but it's called Data Driven Leader. And the whole thesis of the book is that as I have worked for 30 years in data and talked to countless CEOs and still talking to countless CEOs all the time, they believe this lie that data is complicated and they don't understand it. And the accompanying lie to that first lie is that because I don't understand it, I can't lead it. And therefore, I need to kind of outsource the leadership of everything to do with technology and data in my company. And we all know this is true because you talk to any CEO and you start asking them questions about anything about their company, and they're happy to answer those questions. But as soon as you start asking them about technology or data, they go, "Oh, I don't understand any of that." Talk to my IT team. And so that's this lie that data is somehow complicated and convoluted, and you need data scientists and all these things. And the truth that I talk about in the book is that data is incredibly simple. It is so simple. It has three ingredients: strings, dates, and numbers. And that's all there is to data: strings, dates, and numbers. My last name is Gravy, and everybody's called me Gravy since kindergarten. And I love the analogy because gravy has three ingredients: butter, flour, and fat. And data has three ingredients: strings, dates, and numbers. And they're both equally simple. And so, what I'm trying to encourage leaders to realize is that this technology and data is actually very, very simple. And if you're smart enough to run a company or start a business or own a business, you're definitely way smarter than you need to be to understand data and lead your technology and your data for your company, because data is your company's most valuable asset. And you really should own it and control it and lead it and use it. And that's what I'm trying to get leaders to understand is to quit outsourcing the leadership of their data and their technology and take control of the leadership of that department, just like you do every other department in your business.
I love that. And can you tell us a little bit more? Where should the startups start when it comes to data?
Well, yeah, I mean, what happens in startups, like every business, is you have a few systems, and you have just a few data sets. But as your startup grows, like every business, you continue to add systems for different departments, and your suite of technology continues to broaden and grow. And pretty soon you have this, mess of data that's scattered across the cloud and the globe, and some on-premise systems, mostly cloud systems in today's day and age, especially if you're starting a new business. Everything is going to SaaS. But older, more traditional businesses will have a combination of, still on-premise and cloud-based data. But I think for startups, the thing is just always have a data mindset and not just let your data go into all these different SaaS systems and be scattered, but to have this mindset of, hey, we want to buy this system and that's great. And we need this system and it meets our goals from its features and functionalities and budget. But how does that system going to allow us to access our data? It's our data. You own it. Don't let the SaaS providers own your data. You own your data, and think ahead of time about how are we going to get this data out of this SaaS system into a data warehouse that we wholly own and control. And if you have that mentality with all of your systems and all of your SaaS providers, then you'll constantly have this mentality of not losing control and ownership of your data, but always finding ways to extract the data from those systems and keep it in your wholly owned data warehouse.
That's amazing and super helpful. Thank you for sharing that with us. And yeah, like you said, the data is really power and owning your own data. So, why is data so important, first of all? And what are some steps on how we can utilize data to their different areas? But I would like to hear from you to grow the business. We know that there is power in the data, but many people may don't understand what the data can tell them and how actually it can help them scale.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, says things like, the data is the most powerful, valuable asset in the world, the most valuable commodity in the world. It's been talked about for years. We all pay lip service to this idea of becoming data driven, but few of us are actually doing that. And one of the problems is people think that data is the power of data is only in helping make better decisions. And it is. I mean, that's definitely one of the many use cases of the power of data, is helping you make better decisions. And data, when you gather all the data from all of your systems, it is going to be powerful in that regard, in exposing to you the whole truth and nothing but the truth about your business and where your business actually stands. A lot of times we can kid ourselves and we can have these ideas about where our company is. But then when we look at the data, we find out a very different story. And you want to know the truth. It may be a hard truth. It may be some truth that you really don't want to know, but you do because you need to know the real truth about where your business is, or you can't fix the problems and you can't grow your business. So just getting that data, looking at the hard truth and owning it and making those hard decisions that the data is going to clearly show you need to make. That's one of the many powers of data. But I like to talk about all the other uses of data beyond decision support. As you're pulling this data into your data warehouse from all of your systems, it's very easy to apply business rules and then drive alerts. So when things are going wrong, you proactively are alerting the appropriate people at the appropriate times. And so that you're fixing problems proactively. Not only does this help your company be more proactive, but as you see these same problems get alerted, you start to find and develop permanent fixes for these problems, which really helps your company mature and grow. And there's a whole different reaction from a customer that you're serving and you're providing a service for, and they come into the office and whatever you're providing is not working, and they have to tell you that the service is down and it's not working. They're very angry and they're very upset, and you are not a good vendor at that point. But the system or the service can be down. The fact and the reality is still the same. But if they already have an email in their inbox that you're aware that the system is down and that you're working on it, they love you, and now you're proactive and they see you as responsible and on the doing a great job. So the system's still down, but because you had an alert in place, the customer has a totally different reaction. So that's one of the other powerful ways I talk about using data. Portals, data-driven portals, the youth, the upcoming generation that are all going to be all of our customers in the coming years, they do business online and they expect to be able to do business online. And if you can't provide your business and services to the next generation online, you're going to get left behind. So portals, not only customer portals, but team portals internally to allow your team to interact with you and your business through portals online, and your vendors, allowing your vendors to have relationships with you through online portal interactions is huge. So there's so many other ways that data can be so powerful. You have to first own it and control it so that you can use it in all these different ways. But there's so many more ways to use it beyond just the incredible insights and better decision support it gives you, which again is invaluable. But there's so many other invaluable ways that you can really use your data to put it to use to grow and scale your business.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing all of those things because sometimes we think in the box and we see things only one way and we're not utilizing the data we have and we can use it for so many things. So, Paul, can you tell us a little bit more about mistakes when it comes to data or collecting data? Uh, any mistakes you did or you see your clients doing or when they come to you so we don't repeat it, right, in our businesses?
Oh, I mean, there's so many mistakes. I just from a big, huge picture standpoint, the mistake that we made for so long, just as a data industry, was we came up with the idea of data warehouses back in the 1980s, and we tried to build data warehouses. It was a great idea. Data warehouses is what I'm talking about. You need to own all your data in a single one version of the truth data warehouse. But back in the 80s, we didn't have the right tools for the job. So we tried to build data warehouses in traditional transactional SQL databases, and it was a nightmare. And what happened was most data warehousing projects failed miserably, and companies spent tons of money on all these failed data warehouses. And so data warehousing really became synonymous with failure and got a bad name. But the reality is now we have these wonderful tools, Snowflake being the best and the market leader currently, and is truly built from the ground up to be a data warehouse. And it makes building a data warehouse so easy. and it makes it so easy to have a successful data warehouse. And so another mistake that I think we're making from a big picture perspective is everybody is focused on the new shiny object of AI, and everybody's talking about AI, and you got to embrace AI, and AI is the future. And all of those things might be true, but AI runs the same way your brain runs. It runs on data. And so whatever, your brain only makes as good as decisions as the data that you feed into it. Your AI is only going to make as good of decisions as the data you feed into it. So if you haven't already had a solid data strategy and a solid one version of the truth data warehouse with all of your data to feed into your AI initiatives, I don't know what you're going to feed into your AI algorithms, but it's probably going to be a bunch of garbage. And we all know the old adage from the 80s and 90s, garbage in, garbage out. I don't hear anybody talking about that anymore, which is funny because they just want to do AI and throw whatever data you can find out there through these algorithms. And it's like, wait a minute. AI runs on data, so let's get solid data, a solid data strategy, get a solid one version of the truth data warehouse so that we have good data to feed into our AI algorithms that can truly help grow and scale our business. So that's one of the mistakes. A lot of CEOs coming up to me right now with all these AI initiatives that they want to do. And the first question I ask them is, well, how is the data? Where's your data and how's it look that you're going to feed into this AI initiative? And usually the answer is we don't have it, or we don't know, or we look at the data and it really needs a lot of help. So, I'd say the cart before the horse of AI is data. And so focus on your data before you focus on AI.
And I mean, data definitely, it's a key to improve everything from your customer service to your sales marketing. Without data and knowing who your customer is, I mean, how are you going to improve your sales and get more product out there, or even develop the right product if you don't have the data in the first place what the market wants? So it
Yeah.
really is a powerful topic. And I would like, as we're wrapping soon the episode, maybe to give a tip. Most of our listeners are startups, they're growing their businesses. What are some of the tips you would tell them if they haven't started with data or they feel a little bit overwhelmed? Or, like you said, like most of the CEOs, they feel, oh, I don't understand technology, I don't understand data. What is the advice you would give them or a tip you would give them to make them work with the data in a better way?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you do understand it. It's not that hard. It's strings, dates, and numbers. Don't be intimidated by technology and data. It's a lot more simple than you think or currently believe. Every other department in your company, whether it's marketing or sales or finance or manufacturing, whatever kind of business you're in, you're the leader, right? And what do you do? Hopefully, my dad taught me, and hopefully the leaders who are starting businesses out there know, don't be afraid to hire people smarter than yourself. And you do this in every area, in marketing and manufacturing and finance. So do the same thing in your data and technology. Hire people smarter than yourself, and then ask lots of questions. And your goal is not to understand every nuance and detail. You don't understand every nuance and detail of marketing or of your manufacturing or logistics, but you ask enough questions from these smart team members that you know the vision, you set the vision, you set the mission, and then you lead it. That's what we do as leaders, right? We set the vision, we set the mission, and then we repeat the mission and we lead everybody on the mission. And you definitely know enough and understand enough and are smart enough to ask the right questions about data and technology, to set the vision and set the mission and lead your technology and data department just like you lead every other department in your business. So just don't be fooled or think that this is a part of your business that you can't lead. You need to lead your data and your technology department. It's a critical part of your business, and you need to have ownership and leadership over it, just like you do every other aspect of your company.
That's amazing. Thank you, Paul, for being here today. And tell us a little bit more about the upcoming book, where we can find it. Will it be on Amazon, your website? So we're looking forward to a new book, new information in the future.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Data Driven Leader. It'll be on Amazon and lots of places next spring. So spring of 25.
Okay, it's almost there. We're looking forward to it. Thank you, Paul, for
Thank you.
being the guest today. I want to say, everyone, thank you for listening. Make sure to give us some comments. Tell us what would you like to learn next, and also give us some likes, hearts, and make sure to share this episode with at least one person that can help and benefit from it. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.